Star Trek The Next Generation was a show. Everybody I interacted with. A show that I started watching when I was a really little kid. Can you believe it's been 30 years Star Trek The Next Generation first
Star Trek The Next Generation was my life.
I really grew up with this show.
My relationship to how I should conduct myself. It was the escape from reality. Welcome to Next Generation's First Generation, where Patrick Delmore and Sascha Schaudies take a look back into their favorite childhood show, Star Trek The Next Generation. This is where we attempt to reconcile how we felt as children watching the show and looking back as old farts now in our late 30s, almost 40s. Guests, social commentary, and good old-fashioned shade-throwing on our favorite and least favorite episodes. Here comes Patrick and Sascha. Oh, I almost forgot. This is a watch-along podcast, so make sure to queue up your favorite DVD or Netflix, and we'll give you the countdown of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 to basically watch along with the episode.
Okay.
Sascha.
Did he ever say that he wanted to be part of an a cappella techno band?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So we need someone to carry the bass. We need a chick to repeat exactly one sentence over and over again.
Over and over, yeah.
We'll need someone who can beatbox. And then also someone to carry the main theme of the song.
Well, I had this idea years ago, and I never ever played it out. So it would be like a low-rent version of Stomp.
Yeah.
Like with smaller objects.
Yeah.
And the name of the band is Taposaurus Bang.
Taposaurus Bag?
Bang.
Bang.
So it's stuff like chopstick on a draining board.
Yes. Oh, Jason Dirt.
Yeah, forks on the outside of a microwave.
He would be all about that. I don't think you've met Jason. Oh, you guys would get along splendidly.
He's a good friend of ours. He likes audio engineering.
Yeah.
Okay, so welcome.
He's in Wisconsin now. Sorry.
Welcome to Next Generation's First Generation. In this episode, we are reviewing Time Squared. Does that mean you get to listen to the episode twice? Only if you want to.
Or do you listen to it when the ball drops in Times Square?
Oh.
And unlike 00010001, the Binar episode, they just spelled out squared instead of just putting a tiny 3 next to time.
Oh, yes, look at that. Well, maybe this is more of a literary episode than a math episode.
Well, it's a Picard gets tested episode. So let's jump into it. The first episode of May 1989 is here.
Is this a May?
When?
No, this is April.
Okay.
April. This is an April episode, son. All right.
So we'll give a countdown of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 as we watch along with the DVD. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage. The screen goes black. And there's our Enterprise.
Beautiful as ever.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot about this. Has a great opening.
Riker.
You're going to enjoy this.
Riker cooks dinner for his friends.
Yeah.
This is really one of the first.
Friends or for his, in air quotes, friends.
His office friends.
His office friends, but on a ship, your friend is also an office friend.
Yeah.
Is that an ostrich egg?
It was a red egg.
It's an egg from a species that is made up for this show.
Interesting.
Exactly what I needed.
I love that the door almost closes on Pulaski.
She has a stein in her hand.
She does.
Stein? Okay.
Ale from Enid 6.
Ale.
Eat an ale.
Omelets and ale.
It's not Romulan.
And ale.
Oh, you're right, dude.
I don't know if I like
Eggs
that.
and beer.
Ooh, that doesn't sound like a pleasant combination.
And the low-budget whiskey he was using only has one wire in it.
Flair, individuality.
This is the second social event we see. And the first one is when they were playing poker for the first time in My Dear Data. No, not My Dear Data. It was the Darn it, we just recorded it a few episodes ago. Measure of a Man.
Yeah. But I love moments like these because it really shows what a family these people are.
Mm-hmm.
It is my understanding that in most human families,
And folks are relaxed. They express their personal opinions.
No.
There were only the two of us. I never knew my mother.
Worf just said in most human families, the woman does the cooking. Is that what he just said?
And that it's weird because it's like it's very divided up, with people who actually cook. Like we see much later on, O'Brien and Keiko are having a conversation about how chores were divided in their homes, and Keiko's mother replicated everything, and O'Brien's mom didn't believe in a replicator and used the stove, and Keiko's just shocked because she handled like raw meat with her bare hands. And
yeah,
I'm really digging
Worf is like,
yeah.
How do I eat this? I've forgotten how to eat.
Well, you can't get your teeth into it. So
nobody likes eggs.
So I already want to. I mean, obviously we can't do it right now, but I already want to rewatch the very beginning of it because there were 2 or 3 quotes that were really interesting to me that I had already forgotten.
Oh no!
Yeah, but something about how this specific trait is the difference between a practiced hand and flair. It's the difference between competence and creativity, or something like that.
Oh, while cooking, or
yeah, I think so.
Okay.
And then there was something else about like this is what makes friendship, and so I thought that was really interesting, but I don't remember what it was.
Cooking. He was saying how cooking kind of measures the strength of his relationship with friends.
So if he cooks for somebody, that means it's a strong.
So we should see if we can take away the lesson from that cooking scene through the rest of the episode. Does that try to tell us something about what would happen later in this story? Now, where we're at, they've just discovered a Federation shuttlecraft, and there's no main ship. Just the shuttlecraft is out floating around out there.
You know what I realized? We didn't even introduce ourselves.
No,
we didn't.
That's all right. I think we all know who we are. Well, I am the lovely Gemline Chowdies.
I am the lovely Sascha Chowdies.
And we have...
I'm just this guy, No, I'm...
Just kidding, it's the other way around.
Hey, it's almost April Fool's!
Yeah.
Well, actually, it's April 3rd is when this episode came out, so you were probably recovering from some wicked April Fool's Day shenanigans. This episode is the 13th episode in the 2nd season, directed by Joseph L. Scanlon. Story by Kurt Mitchell Benzmiller. Teleplay by Maurice Hurley. Featured music by Dennis McCarthy, because Ron Jones was on vacation.
But this has some awesome music in it, actually.
It does, yes.
Even though it's in the Ron Jones one, there's some really cool themes.
So if we remember, this is a Picard Challenge episode, right?
Yep.
All right, we don't want to spoil it.
Well, we can spoil it.
Okay, let's spoil it.
So here's what's about to happen, Jen.
Okay.
They're going to find this shuttle that's from the Enterprise. And that shuttle that they found is somehow still sitting in their shuttle bay. Now there's 2 of them.
Oh.
They open it up, and Captain Picard is inside the shuttle.
Oh.
Yeah.
The Captain Picard?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's now 2 Picards. One's passed out in the shuttle, and one's walking around.
That's time squared.
Yep.
So it's kind of like if you found your car on the side of the road and you were passed out inside it.
Kind of, well, we were talking about, what's it called? Not Someday, Every Day, by David Leviathan. That was an interesting movie.
Boy, they say Endicott in this a bunch.
It's like Bajoran. Drinking game.
Yeah, that was a really good story where your consciousness, the book that we're talking about, would be supplanted by somebody else, and someone would just drive you around like a puppet for a day.
Yeah, every single day you were a different person.
And so then
but after... you had the same soul.
Yeah.
Prepare to lock on tractor. Target vehicle.
The HD looks pretty good in this one. They do much better at the Starfield. They brighten up a lot of the colors. It doesn't look so beigey. Here's a really nice Shuttle Bay 2 shot. We never see the main Shuttle Bay, unfortunately, because it would have been too expensive of a set to have.
I wonder why that is.
The main Shuttle Bay was huge. It was like this big open room.
Now, isn't the main Shuttle Bay in the series finale, isn't that where Picard comes in and addresses the crew for the first time?
I don't know.
Because it's a different set.
I thought that was in Shuttle Bay 2 as well. Anyway, they're bringing.
We'll find out in about 5 years.
Yeah, they're bringing this shuttle in, which looks really awesome.
I don't think I've ever seen this extra.
No.
Yeah.
Can we get him on the show?
He
looks pretty young. I mean,
I've been posting on our. I've been posting on our Facebook page the cartoon Chief O'Brien at Work.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. And this is another guy that has a job that O'Brien could do, but they decided they wanted him to do it.
It's
That
a
shuttle
really,
looks like it's made out of cardboard.
It's a really ugly shuttlecraft.
Huh.
I think they actually call it a shuttle pod.
Oh, there's a mirror on it.
Shuttlecraft.
Oh, it's the glossy finish of the front.
The what's it called?
There's the other one just sitting.
The old
Are they
NX,
like
the old
white
NX
clouds?
Enterprises had shuttle pods.
But at least those look like little rockets.
Yeah.
This right here just looks like fell off the prototype line of the Geometry.
Isn't it a coincidence that we put the one that we took into the same shuttle bay as the other one?
Commander, come here.
Look at this dead body I found. I didn't touch it at all, I swear.
Yes, number one.
Sorry, I'm talking to the other captain.
Not you.
Want to know what I mean? Get down to Shuttle Bay 2. It's wacky.
What is it?
This I think you should see for yourself.
Or you should see yourself. Ha.
Oh, yeah.
Data's like, what? I get to leave the room. The punishment bridge.
It's like, yeah, we should tell all non-essential personnel that this is going on so they can freak out.
Right?
This is going to be pretty
What's up with
disturbing now.
oh.
I think they did some really nice makeup on him to look a little darker. Not like darker as in skin tone, but to emphasize like the lines and muscles in his face there.
Well,
Right,
there's
because
some-
it looks like he's got a slash in his neck.
There's some body double work in here.
Okay.
His heartbeat is strong, but the pulse is
And he could be a wax statue.
Yeah.
no signs.
Yeah, they definitely lightened up the makeup there on alternate Picard.
I can't say.
Can't or won't, Doctor?
Right.
The readings of his
Give him some Folgers. Wake him up.
Strange. Not wet. Not human.
He looks like the guy on the Folgers can. Remember they used to have that, the guy in the nightshirt walking with the lamp?
I just
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Patrick Stewart all along.
Yeah.
This is his first career. It's a tin can model.
I was only 25 when I posed for that.
She seems amazingly calm for all of this.
She's seen some stuff.
Well, I remember Beverly would always just jump right into action.
Yeah.
Pulaski took things a little slower. See, they're not beaming him. They're just like, we'll just pull him on this trolley.
Which I think,
Look at this extra behind Picard.
Yeah,
Wow!
there are all
There's
these-
two!
there are all these new extras that I've not seen yet.
And it's like, please, you gotta be all like, please don't go home and tell your wives and kids that this happened, because you're gonna freak everybody on the ship out. What does Troy think about all this?
Picard's got this look on his face like, I can't wait to try stuff.
I never felt something quite like this before, so it's difficult to put into words. That person is you.
No.
Now that's a pretty definitive
Yeah.
explanation for all the stuff we've seen in Star Trek.
As the person I'm standing next to. Beyond that, there is very little I can be sure of.
Could be a Q double.
So,
Could be
those
a
transfer
clone.
orders I put in for you have come through, by the way, Counselor.
Oh.
So they're going to check the logs on the shuttle.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got it.
Well,
Have you tried turning it off and then turning it back on again?
Friends from the shuttle. I'm going to have to connect to the Enterprise in order to activate the shuttle system.
I thought this was a neat episode watching this as a child. They call in their tech guys.
Wow, that's total blue screen.
I'll be in sick bay.
What? That wasn't a blue screen.
Yeah, it was.
In this,
What?
Yep.
I don't believe it.
looks like the damage
Well, that prop is only about as big as a regular person.
been just out of range of the shuttle.
So anytime you see somebody like
Counselor,
standing, I'm trying to explain this correctly. It's usually the warp core is usually rear projected. If you see somebody standing like directly in front of it, like you'll see the lights bouncing off of them. But
What?
yeah, no, that was totally a.
resume.
That was
Fabricated
totally a
background.
set.
No,
I
he
call
was not-
shenanigans on
He was
that.
not on that set. Rikering it up.
Hey, it's the opening credit footage
Yep.
they stole. Woohoo! Someone saved money. It's like watching the anime where the person's mouth only moves every other frame. Data, you gotta stop wearing wool socks and scooting your feet across the floor of the ship.
Yeah,
I came
too
up
much
with an
stuff.
idea for how, Geordi, as we see him later on as a captain. He shows up in Voyager. He's like an old man.
Yeah, that's right.
So I would like to believe that Geordi used the technology from the holographic doctor to create like a holographic chief engineer.
Oh, that would be interesting.
Yeah, because it worked so well, he ended up deciding to go to command school.
Because there's someone just as good as him
Yeah.
taking care of
Yeah.
the ship.
His vital signs are distorted.
So the shuttlecraft doesn't work, and
Some of the indicators
the
are terribly depressed. Others are
Captain
operating
B
normally.
is broken. He's not
I can't
working.
explain any of it.
They don't know why. In the previous
Oh,
scene,
look at the monitors. They're so great.
Whoa.
Wow.
What is that?
The restraints are for his own protection.
Oh, they put on a restraint.
We've been
Okay.
able to determine why he's still unconscious.
Why would they restrain him if
But
he's
I have been
unconscious?
able to rule out any head injury.
I don't get it.
In case he regains consciousness, you don't know what will happen.
Think about what, the doubles of other Starship captains have done. Nothing good. There's probably a protocol for it because there were, 2 Kirks at least twice.
Whoa! The wake-up hypo was set to sleep.
I love that one triangle. It didn't even scoot. It just went from one end to the other.
So this is the first clue that there's something
Look at that,
opposite about him. They played it in reverse,
Yeah.
Patrick.
What happened?
Well, apparently
Graphic.
my hypo was set to sleep instead of awake.
Yeah.
Or someone was playing with the labels. I'm not quite sure.
You see Wesley sneaking out of there. He's got like a label stuck to every finger on his hand.
Asleep, awake, fire photons.
Like, my mom let me play with them. Call her and ask her if you don't believe me.
Then I would give you something.
So they're back to the shuttle. There's no B plot in this
Okay.
episode.
Yeah.
Excellent.
This is all about Picard and the mystery.
I am so all about that.
Step out of the way.
Because the B plots are usually...
Yeah, I've literally...
Some of them are pretty good, though. That's a pretty bright console
Yeah.
on that guy in the background. Look at that. He's lit up.
Yeah.
Data just... Considering Data just threw Geordi across the room 2 episodes ago, he's like, yeah, I'm not going to let you get knocked around
Yeah.
this time.
I love seeing these two together.
Yeah, they're best friends.
Yeah.
Adjust the
Is that ever actually established that they call each other their best friends?
Yes.
Or, oh,
Eventually they do. Yeah,
That's-
they're a good team.
they really are.
Well, did you see that? Data had a little smirk like, it's not working and I'm confused.
That could cause the circuit to change so radically.
It's an alternate universe ship.
Okay.
So now they're going to figure out if they make everything opposite, it'll work.
Negative.
There you go. The ship
That's it.
works.
It shouldn't work, but it does.
Son of a bitch.
Data's yeah.
Started.
Yeah, Data's all, the heck you say?
42679.5.
42679.5. 42679.5. Oh, I
Call
said it right.
The onward clock
42679.5.
indicates that the shuttle is 6 hours.
Pennsylvania 42679.5.
Wow.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Thank you. So they just established that the other Picard in the shuttle is from the future. They're going to check the browser history
Yeah,
and
and
find
we'll
some
hear-
very
yeah.
interesting things.
Well,
there.
this is the thing. It's just like, and that is exactly what's going on. There's no other explanation for it. That's what it is.
They're just from
They
the future.
they figured it out. There's no chance anything else is up. That's what it is. Picard from 6 hours to the future.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say how far in the future. It's just 6 hours.
6 hours.
That's really interesting.
So what? So the rest of this is what is he going to do to make sure that this doesn't happen to him?
Yeah.
I'm not happy how our Picard handles this situation.
Oh, me neither. But he has to go through this. This is the test.
That's creepy.
This is the test that he gets put through. Actually, Q does it to him 3 times, but in different ways each time.
Oh, what is that?
Can you be sure? Can you be sure that the decisions that you make are the right choices?
Yep. Okay. Yeah, they did that with the Nausicaans.
Yeah.
And they did that in the final series premiere.
Can you trust your own judgment? That's it. That's his big thing. So we like to talk about, what everybody went through in the psych test.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Picard says to Wesley that he didn't get into the academy the first time. I don't think that's true. I think he said that to make Wesley feel better.
I'm fine, Doctor.
Yeah, you could be right.
Stop. 5 minutes. Doctor, I assume you will want to remain here.
I would imagine,
Keep informed.
his psych test would be, well, they could have straight up given him Kobayashi Maru.
I kind of like what they did with Deanna Troi when she was testing for command, where she had to order someone to their death.
I forgot about that episode.
Yeah, and so with Picard and his psych test, I would imagine that they had to test him on something of who he is, who carries as his core identity now.
Mm-hmm.
So he was kind of, when you look back in the Academy days, he was kind of this rowdy jock, and now he's more of a reserved socially, doesn't interact with folks, and it takes everything for business. Maybe his psych test was mixing social and professional work life and having that explode into him. Now that may be kind of odd for a test to see how good you are in the line of duty, but the idea is just to have you face your biggest fears. And what we're going to learn in this episode is that Picard is very much unhappy with himself. They just witnessed the future Enterprise get destroyed, and Captain abandoned ship.
Captain, we also have a portion of the last log entry. It's audio only.
The audio was, I had just enough time to watch the last Lord of the Rings installment.
Yeah. I like that cut of Ian McKellen's jib. He and I should be friends.
So I'm trying to figure out how listening to this log is not a violation of the Prime Directive.
Attempts to obtain further information.
Well, it's your own future. Oh, they haven't talked about the temporal Prime Directive yet. That comes in Voyager, I think.
Probably. What I don't remember what it is, but I would assume that it's like if somebody showed up from the future, they wouldn't be allowed to say anything about what the future's like, but like you could listen to a recording of yourself.
Okay.
And this isn't the first time travel episode of the Enterprise. You remember when they get stuck in that loop?
Yep.
And they're repeating the same day for months?
Yeah, that hasn't happened. We haven't recorded a commentary on that yet.
Yep, that's a couple of years down the road too. Well, what's really disturbing is that
there's Moby Dick again,
mm-hmm.
and I alone escaped to tell the tale.
Yes. So, what's more disturbing, that the ship was destroyed or that the captain abandoned ship? Because you kind of see that look of betrayal on everybody's face.
Yeah.
In the conference room when they show the shuttle lifting and pulling away and Riker standing there in the bay.
What if what happened, because this is going to come up, is that he starts, this decision is driving him crazy, and Pulaski starts talking about how she wants to relieve Picard of command. Now, what if the reason that we were seeing it the way we were, where Riker's watching him leave, is because Riker relieved him of command in the alternate timeline because he was acting crazy.
Oh, and then he just decided to leave.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
So Riker was the captain of the Enterprise.
A twist in the fabric of space where time becomes a loop.
So we're talking about
Which there is
the whole
no
Mobius thing.
Yeah.
When we
Mobius
reach
strip.
that point, whatever happened will happen again. The Enterprise will be destroyed. The other Picard will be sent.
Well,
back
then
to
this
with
just
us.
comes down to, is your fate predetermined or not?
Mhm.
Yeah, which is another big part
I know
of
this much.
Picard's journey.
We can't
Hmm.
avoid the future. Agreed.
That's why when we get into it that I think that
Somewhere out there,
the
something will happen.
final three Next Generation movies are not necessary stories for Picard at all.
The decision
And I don't know what they're gonna. This new Picard TV show, like what hasn't he done? What is it that he hasn't achieved?
I can see him being a civilian in his adventures of pursuing his own interests as a civilian and interacting with Starfleet and other parties.
That would be really interesting. That he's on the he's in the vineyard.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, God, no. You know what would be genius?
Yeah.
Genius is if they open that episode with Geordi finding him at the vineyard and doing the red alert or some other damn thing, and they laugh, and it's like no sign of the Q trial people at all.
And he was actually going into mental illness?
No, he doesn't have the aromatic
Oh, he doesn't.
syndrome or any of that.
Okay.
And I can't recall. Does he remember the future parts of that adventure? Or do they?
I think he does. He
Okay.
keeps it to himself. So the paradox is resolved,
Yeah.
but he recalls what it is, and he decides to invite himself into the poker game.
Yeah.
And then one of his last words was, "I'm surprised I haven't done this years ago," or something
Yeah.
to that effect.
Yeah.
I'm able to feel
So this episode, no surprise, was supposed to be a Q episode.
Was it?
Oh.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, but Gene said, "Nah, we're not going to do this." And the shuttle pod was named after a scientist in NASA,
Poor Maria Sirtis.
Farouk El Baz.
he desperately wants to leave this ship.
And they make it sound like it's a bad thing that this Picard wants to leave.
Well,
But
because they
he's-
think they can figure out something from him.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. I think we might have missed it. There's a scene where Picard walks in on him and they're doing the body double thing. And the guy has, spray painted on gray hair.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
We continue on course to Endicott.
Endical.
We are now less than 2 hours away from our rendezvous with ourselves.
What? Maximum scan, sir. Nothing unusual to report.
If this timetable is correct, we could get an indication.
So they chose not to change their course.
Yes,
And they're going to continue where they are. Well, this goes into the original... in Star Trek, a common theme comes in. Should we continue second-guessing ourselves, or should we just go on what we think is the right course?
Keep your eye on the double's hair.
On the double's hair? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, she's not happy. There he is.
How is he?
His vital signs are more normal, which is to say more like ours. He is calmer,
He's aware of me,
perhaps in some fashion.
but he knows where he is. Who's here with him?
I doubt it.
Nah, you don't know nothing.
As I interpret this, he's kind of like in a delusional sleep. So
Yeah.
have you ever had severe sleep deprivation and you can't tell if you're awake or asleep?
That's the worst. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
and-
happened.
Or where you wake up and you're still dreaming? I think that's where he is supposed to be right now. And then you're in this weird state of mind and you see yourself looking over you, asking these really intense questions like, do you know who you are? Do you know where I am? Do you know who I am?
Don't turn away. Look at me.
That's
That's really strange that he's ordering himself around for one, and that he's mad at himself for leaving the ship.
well, he's mad at him. He's embarrassed.
Mm.
I think Picard is embarrassed that he could let himself degrade to that state.
Dimension, looking at us across a great chasm. And he's feeling remorse at what he witnessed. He's afraid.
Just saw
What are you afraid
Marina
of?
Sirtis on the DC Universe show Titans. She played Dove's mother. She's aged very well.
Yes, she has. I remember seeing her in an interview about 2 years ago.
Help me. Why did you leave the ship?
Just
It's no use
as
having
lovely
me
as she always
Yeah.
is. And actually, I like her natural. She carried her natural personality in this show.
I know. She would have been so much more enjoyable.
Oh, yeah, because it's there.
Yeah.
It's very much there.
You see it a little bit when she gets drunk in, what's it?
Except for his features, there is
First
nothing about
Contact.
him that I find familiar.
So Picard cannot accept this. He's in denial.
I want you to stay with him. He'll be able to communicate with you before anyone else.
I don't remember an episode where Troy gets drunk.
It's in the movie First Contact.
Oh,
Because they don't realize that they're drinking alcohol.
There has to be a break. I think he's handling it very well.
She has so little to do in any of the
He has
movies.
a lot of anger.
The
Yes,
movies
it
were
is
not
what
fair
we
to the
represent.
supporting cast.
And what is that?
the movies were just crap.
He's
I think the
Well, I'm
only
going to
one
be
I-
interested to watch them again.
The only one I really enjoyed watching was First Contact.
I like Generations. I think Generations does have something to say about Picard.
True. We learn life on about Data's emotion chip, though I think they downed the Enterprise a little too easily.
Yes.
Capable of making command decisions. Yes, but now.
So now we start the umpteenth conversation of should we remove the captain from command?
We both know that pressure.
Do you hear the crows going nuts outside?
Yeah.
You said yourself,
They're very happy about this episode.
which
Yeah.
is understandable and healthy, and could be potentially.
It's really interesting listening to these two talk about coming from two separate standpoints. One from a medical standpoint, one from a psychological standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
Well, here's where I think Troy is coming from, is that she's like, you're not part of this core group.
Right, exactly.
You do
She's
not-
like,
you-
I know the captain
Yeah.
better than you do.
Yeah. You don't get to do this
Yeah.
whole talk about relieving the captain of duty.
Is that the only person she brings this conversation up to?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, it's going through the chain of command correctly.
Yeah.
Well, remember back when Picard merged with weird lightning entity and wanted to beam himself into space? That was in the first season. They had a.
God, this prop is awful. I think
Let's get rid of.
I think they did a different prop for this in what's the HD version. I could be wrong though.
What were you saying?
Oh, I was just talking about the number of times they have the "Let's kill Picard" conversation.
Oh.
Close the shuttle. Thrown back in
Yeah,
time.
Troy is actually of higher rank than Worf is.
Accelerating beyond warp.
Oh, well, okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
She's a lieutenant commander. Worf is just a lieutenant.
Okay.
The shuttle doesn't have warp
Well,
capability.
because, red shirt.
Hey, they just brought up the
Good
warp.
picture.
They just brought up the warp 10 barrier there.
Ah,
That's where we first hear about it. You can't travel faster than warp 10.
Ah.
Because if you did, you could be everywhere in any wind.
Ah.
and
At all points.
you and your captain could turn into lizards and have babies together.
Oh, Voyager.
Oh,
That was a Voyager
that's a
episode.
real thing.
Yes.
You know, I learned the other day that
Oh, man.
Robert Picardo was in Gremlins too.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's one of what's his name's Joe Dante's guys.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
And Mannheim's experiments with gravity and time.
Look at him just being casual on his futon.
Yeah. Hand on the head.
Why does he
legs
have?
crossed.
Why does he have an interview couch in his office? That's what I want to know.
Oh, really?
Well, he's feeling really vulnerable. I think that's why he's in casual stance there.
And I just want everybody on this crew to know if anything's ever going on, just come to my ready room and rap with me for a minute. Can probably get it sorted out. What's her name? Troy's sitting there with her mouth hanging open. And he's like, I don't know. Some people are kind of put off by you.
This is really the first time we get to see these two bond.
Oh, truly, yes.
I mean, this is completely off the wheels for anything before
Mhm.
this moment.
But Riker has always been a Picard sycophant since Picard hired him onto the ship.
Mm.
Your Persian flaw. What does that
To the
mean?
bridge.
I missed the context of the remark.
It was buried in the conversation that we talked over.
This energy vortex has just...
So there's the vortex, and they are faced with making a choice.
Oh yeah, they made that completely different in the HD version too.
This effect was really amazing back then, though.
Yeah, it was.
When you see that right here
Whoa.
is so cool.
That does look really cool.
This
Even
really,
now, it holds up.
it gives you a true sense of scale for that saucer section too. Looking at it from that point of view, I mean, this is a massive ship. It is huge. Huge.
I could probably fit it in my living room.
Well, I was just thinking, seeing the same thing, that it made everything else look small, and that vortex.
See, now he's actually in the room.
Say that again, Jen?
That little sinkhole thing, that was a vortex, right?
Yeah, that was the vortex.
Yeah, it actually, you were saying it looks huge, but to me it made everything look small in comparison, so it looked like a small vortex, smaller ship.
Ah. Yeah, you're right, Pat. It did. He was there in that
Yeah.
scene.
Beam is coming from the center of the vortex.
So what kind of
Sensors show
beam?
it to be only a massive.
So are they getting scanned from the vortex? I'm confused.
Only a mass of energy? What else would it be, Data?
I think it's trying to determine if
Maybe he doesn't know.
A super ball of superpower.
Mm-hmm.
Unless that was the mistake.
So now they're trying to figure out the paradox. Do I move forward? Do I just do opposite of what I should be doing?
Yeah, this is Picard's freak out moment.
We should go now.
Well, what you should do is punch everybody in the left eye. And then go back to your Picard double and see if a left eye bruise shows up. And then you'll know if you can truly escape your fate or not. If he has no bruise, then he should be good.
You okay?
Yeah, I just swallowed a little bit of water on the wrong.
Transfer to bridge.
A Persian flaw was a flaw intentionally introduced by Persian artisans of Earth to signify that man was inherently flawed. So
Did you look it up in Memory Alpha?
yeah.
Okay, because I was going to say, why would they need to clarify that Persia is on Earth?
Oh, yeah, good point. I still had that wood veneer around the view screen.
Yes.
That was a nice touch.
The Persians believed only God or a higher power was perfect in all aspects. Okay, so originally I was talking about like carpet makers. Like if they're making any kind of carpet, that there has to be a flaw in it because it's not made by a god.
Oh, very interesting. So if you bought an authentic Persian rug, there would be one mistake
There
in
would
it.
have to be a flaw.
You know what I would do if I was that rug maker? I'd put a little coffee ring stain
There you
somewhere
go.
on the
Oh,
on
there
the
goes
carpet.
the ship.
Yep, they got sucked in.
So the timeline, or the 6 hour in the future timeline, is coming true.
Oh, yes.
All decks have reported. No damage,
This
no
is
injuries.
really interesting because we've kind of broken a constant rule in that this is a two-dimensional universe. So most things are ahead or behind or left and right,
Yeah.
not too much up and down. But yet they've fallen down into this
Yes,
vortex.
and Worf also said that it was underneath them.
Yeah, so that's kind of a odd thing. So there's the proof. They shot a probe, and whoa, Picard just got shot, and the other Picard
just got shot.
Yep. But what I'm saying is they shot a probe into the vortex to see what would happen, and the probe got
The
destroyed.
whole disposition is enormous.
They're talking about some enormous power.
Just a few minutes, and then we're going to have to shut down again.
Captain, some kind of energy just surrounded my patient.
Is he alive?
Yes.
On the photons.
So what was the purpose of the energy beam, do you think?
Hold on to
On
real
the
block
Picards.
Hold to my order.
Ah,
Yeah,
there it goes
right?
again.
Yeah, that's another one they really fixed in the HD. It does not have all the wiggles and jiggles on it.
Like a rag in a dog's mouth.
Thanks, number one.
It was the entire ship, but now it has focused attention.
So the vortex has an intelligence.
I can't hold it.
And the intelligence is focusing on Picard.
This position.
But he's
Alright.
got two Picards.
So I think I can figure out why he abandoned ship is because since they were focusing all of the energy on him, he thought he could save the ship by kind of creating a diversion. It's
Bingo.
Like, yep. Okay.
Yep.
Predictable.
He thought, oh, the vortex wants me, not the ship.
Right. So I'm going to have the vortex chase me and save the ship.
That's good logic.
The other way, Khan must have thought.
Yeah, and they're just working it out.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that. That's what the other Picard must have thought.
You have the bridge number 1 leading.
Where are you going?
Making it come true.
I don't know what I'm doing, but I know I'm going to do it.
See, at this point, I'd send someone with Picard.
Yeah.
Because I think the interest is not to let him leave the ship. That seems like a very cowardly
Which is
thing to do.
what Riker... You saw Riker was with him in the shuttle bay in the video of what happened before.
True. So now they can communicate. Turtle Man! I learned this from Admiral Iguana.
Yeah.
I know.
Must
You know where you are.
stop Mitch McConnell. Everything in past bad.
Enterprise.
I would have loved to see...
I'm vaguely aware of it.
who played the father in Indiana Jones? What was his name?
Sean Connery.
Sean Connery. I would have loved to see Sean Connery play a Starfleet captain.
Oh, that would have been interesting.
He could still do it. What if Sean Connery was
Release it.
Picard's long-lost brother in the new series that comes up?
That's something that could happen, but it would be horrible if it did, because the whole... that was the other thing I was trying to talk about, was the reason that Generations works for me as it is, it's his brother dying. His brother and his son is how they open that movie.
Wait, the brother didn't die, just the son.
I thought they all died.
Oh.
I thought it was, but that whole family.
I don't want any distraction.
Or we could do like a DuckTales where so Picard would be Scrooge and the evil guy, what was his name? Scrooge McNuck's nemesis. Glumgold would be Sean Connery.
There actually is, I should give a shout out, there's a wonderful audio drama podcast called Star Trek Outpost, and they did do a Christmas Carol version of the story. Yeah, I want to say Outpost takes place on Deep Space 4, which is on the border of Ferengi and First Federation space. And they have kind of the commander on the ship is kind of a curmudgeon-y jerk, and he gets stuck in a turbo lift and knocked out, and has a Christmas Carol style adventure while he's knocked out. Yeah, it was really good.
It reminds me of the Riker clip show, but instead of flashbacks, they would have visit the three ghosts.
Yeah, that's coming up in the recording pretty soon.
So I have a theory when I was a child. So watching these two, they're talking to each other, they're interacting, they're both responding as captain. It's harder to distinguish the two. Mm-hmm. It makes me wonder if the Picard from 6 hours in the future is the one who stays behind and shoots the present Picard. Spoilers. One shoots the other.
And then they do that with Harry Kim kind of on Voyager.
And O'Brien on Deep Space Nine.
I forgot about that. They did do that.
Yeah. We love killing our present versions of ourselves for the future. Or alternate.
What was it?
But the distinction here is that one Picard is obsessed with getting off the ship. Because that's the right thing to do. And the present Picard just says, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Why are you locked in your thought?
They're locked into a single intent.
Yeah, locked into a single intent.
Unable to alter any of your previous actions. I believe there's no other way. There must be one. But it would never work.
What was it? What was the other thing that would never work? He just says, I have to leave. There's Elbaz, named after a NASA scientist, born in 1938, by the way. His name is Frankirk, or something like that. I was reading it a few hours ago.
But that's the other choice. I must leave. No.
Well, the other choice is for him to stay.
I love that there's a weapons locker right there.
Yeah, like just randomly where I need it to be.
And unlocked.
Well, you would want to have one there because that's the most likely area where hostiles would be able to enter the ship.
Good point.
And so he just shoots himself. Now, you think that the ship's sensors would pick that up.
Right?
So there's a little button beeping on Worf's console that a phaser discharge went off. So, but instead, he just calls the doctor saying, come to the shuttle bay. Doesn't say what's up. And so here, poor Pulaski has to walk in on dead Picard.
Well, she's smart and brought a security officer. No, she brought O'Brien.
That's
not that's helpful.
Yeah. And so, for all they know, that could be the real Picard and not the future Picard.
Yeah, no kidding.
I was trying to figure out which one was which. I lost track of who was who.
Well, he is that is the future Picard.
Okay.
Because he was insistent in leaving the ship. It didn't work last time, but he thinks it's still the right thing to do.
So the current Picard is still up and kicking.
Yep.
Okay.
And Miles is just like, I seen some stuff. You have no idea how much you're going to suffer, Mr. O'Brien.
He hasn't been named Miles yet, I don't think.
I think he has. Yeah, he has. We did that episode.
We did he was named O'Brien. We haven't done
the Miles part.
Yeah, Miles has not become.
So is Worf engineering too then? I thought he was
No,
security.
Worf is security. Security and engineering were the same color.
Oh, okay.
Medical is blue, command is red. But I mean, Data's command too. I mean, he's a lieutenant commander.
See, this is where I don't think they really figured it out wholeheartedly.
See, they're in the beginning of a new season of Doctor Who in the opening credits, and they just decided to leave before it.
There you go. Don't bump into the TARDIS in the vortex. Oh, there he goes.
And future Picard and future ship disappears.
Because the paradox resolves itself, so it disappears. And because the paradox is resolved, the vortex disappears.
The other Picard and the shuttle are gone.
But, O'Brien, how did you know that was the other Picard?
Yeah.
We don't know.
What's our position?
We are back on
Endicor!
And a core.
Man down from red alert.
So you guys all have a buttload of paperwork to do.
Right, and it's like they're just so casually, okay, something really freaky just happened, let's just carry on as normal.
I bet you in the future you have to fill out just tons of paperwork for firing your phaser once. Like, you know when a police officer fires his gun, he's put on administrative leave, they have to do a full investigation. Here, Picard shot his future self.
Doing a little bit of soul searching. Where's Guinan right now? Like, Guinan would do perfect in that scene.
Yeah. Well, no, this is a wrap up from the conversation in the captain's office there. In his ready room.
What was real? Perhaps we were all part of a shared illusion.
Ooh.
Or maybe
He was thrown back in
was
time.
thrown back in time so that we would be able to take another road, make a difference.
Maybe the vortex didn't want the Enterprise to be destroyed.
So did the scene with Riker making eggs for everybody tie in thematically with what happened in the rest of the episode?
Number one.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I was looking for it, but Picard was never sitting down to eggs.
No.
Introducing different things of family, friends.
It was a non sequitur intro.
But one that I enjoyed very much, actually. Just to kind of see the relationship
That was the
between
best part
people
of the
on the
show.
ship.
Yeah.
That and the conversation with Pulaski and Troy.
Yeah.
We actually have Troy show some backbone. And
Yeah.
I would have loved to see Picard ruminate with himself a little bit more and talk about all the different options rather than having the future Picard just locked into this one track, easy to dismiss decision. And you could spend a whole episode talking about the consequences of a time paradox. But it's science fiction, it's a 40-minute show, 45-minute show. Well, it was an interesting episode. I like the concept of it. They could have done better. We've seen a lot of episodes where the captains meet themselves and they have to make a decision where the other one dies.
Yeah.
Janeway made this when the ship was on a tether. Cisco didn't do that.
yeah. So you know those Picards? They're like double Picards.
Double Picards.
How many double Picards would you give this episode?
I would give it 4 double Picards.
Wow. That's
because
high.
It was fun. I really enjoyed this episode when I was a child. The effects were cool. It kind of blew my mind that he was talking to each other and kind of doing the whole Parent Trap thing. When I was a kid, I was playing with the idea that maybe the other Picard could kind of trick and fool the crew so you wouldn't know the who's. Like, you could almost have, like, the data and the lore thing all over again.
You know what you've done, though, is now I have it stuck in my head. What's his name? Patrick Stewart singing Let's Get Together with himself. Yeah. We could have a swinging time. Let's get together. Yeah.
Oh, that would be great.
He'd totally do it, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I give it 4. Also, 4 you can divide into 2 easily. So that's why it's a double.
Squared.
I will ask myself in 6 hours from now if I liked the episode, and I'll make sure to give myself an answer. Yeah, that's where it lays. How about you, Jen?
I would probably give it a 3.5. I went into this episode thinking I wasn't going to like it because I set myself up for a quote-unquote bad episode. But there wasn't a whole lot of, like, sci-fi and ship talk. It was a lot of character development, and I liked seeing everybody come together at the common table at the beginning and just kind of, be friends and be cordial towards each other. And I also liked, as you mentioned, Pulaski and Troy talking to each other. There was a lot of interesting dialogue, and I did actually want to rewatch the very beginning because there were a lot of little nuggets of conversation there that made me think. So, when it's mostly character focused, I really end up liking the episode. So I liked it a lot more than I thought I would.
Yay.
So yeah, solid 3.5, I think.
3.5, double Picards. You, sir?
Yeah, I will. I'll give it 3. It's middle of the road for where we're at. For where we're at in the show, it's really good. They're gonna play with Picard like this a couple more times, and it's gonna come out really well. I think if this storyline had happened in season 6 or 5, Riker would have been the one with the double.
Yep.
Yeah.
I also just like seeing Picard struggle as a human being, like where he doesn't have all of the answers and that he loses his composure and he gets scared. It's really interesting to see a person in power be humanized that way.
Yeah, I would agree with you. Picard does get taken down a couple of notches, but with respect. As the season progresses, he turns that fear and vulnerability into introspection. So he'll sit down and turn his fears into an introspective conversation with everybody in the room.
Which I think might turn him into the captain that I actually like and admire, as opposed to that jerk in season 1 that I'm like, who is this person? I don't like you as a captain. So
Yeah, you're right on the mark about that one. Well, we have an email address. It is nextgenfirstgenpod@gmail.com.
It sure is.
We have a Facebook page, Next Generation's Next Generation's First Generation Podcast, and that's on Facebook. And if you would like to Skype in on the show and guest, drop us a line. And we also want to say check out some of the shows on the Two True Freaks Network, Star Trek Monthly Monday, some good episodes there.
Listen to The Prophets, Weekly Heroics, J Guys and Jedis, so many good shows.
Can I make a request?
You can.
In case anybody has been listening since day 1, if anybody has happened to make a little chart or note all of our rankings for all the episodes so far.
Ooh.
That would be really cool to see.
If I had all the time in the world, I could go back and do that.
Right. I just think it would be interesting to see what we've rated as the highest and the lowest episodes so far.
It would indeed be.
Yeah.
And we're not too far into it, so it wouldn't be impossible to go back and do. Well, Sasha, you want to sign us out?
Yeah, that's about it. Again, I hope you're recovering from your wonderful April Fool's Day joke on this lovely April 3rd. And to you, I say have a wonderful day.
Next time on Star Trek, The Next Generation.
Today, I am a warrior.
Lieutenant Worf takes part in a savage Klingon ritual. Commander Riker faces a vicious feud with his father.
We could clear the air once and for all. You're on.
Each one confronts a do-or-die test of courage.
This fight is all we have left.
On Star Trek, The Next Generation.
So you're the guest.
So Sascha, what's a Star Trek
Hi,
Next Generation?
I'm the guest.
So Sascha, what is Star Trek Next Generation?
Seek us out at Next Generation's First Generation at iTunes, Google Play, and YouTube. Music credits include Electric Car by Poddington Bear. Music heard in this podcast can be found at freemusicarchive.org. Audio engineering by Sascha Shouties. Chief Meme Maker and episode cover credit goes to Matthew Kirschner. Logo and graphic art design credit goes to David Clawwitter. And special thanks to Patrick Delmore for working with other podcasts to make sure the good word gets out.
Do you have a podcast that you think people should be listening to? Send us your promos and we'll play them on the show. If you'd like to email the show, you can email us at nextgenfirstgenpod@gmail.com. I've been Patrick Delmore.
And this is Sascha Shouties. Thank you very much for listening and have a wonderful day.
Good night.